try to loop in the records multiple data from a particular website. So for that, we'll use this website. So this website contains the crash reports. Okay. So what we want is we want the data for all these years in one go. So to start with that, let's start with any of the year. So let's 1934. Okay. So first, what we'll do, we'll load this year data, and then we'll try to load the all the years at once. For that, what we start with, we'll just copy this address. We'll go to Power BI, get data from web. You can see that this data is what we saw in the website here. So we'll just select this and do a little bit of transformation in it. So yeah, here we have this data. So this fatality column basically it's showing us many tiers. So let's make a multiple column for it. We'll do a split column based on a delimiter. Okay, first is custom. I'm just taking leftmost because we have only one backward slide. So if we do that, we'll get this. Similarly, if you want to separate this 14 and this 0, you can do the same. Split column by delimiter. This time the delimiter is open parenthesis. Okay, now we have these three columns. We can name this. So first is fatalities. The second is people aboard, and the third one is ground fatalities. And we'll remove this bracket, closing bracket from this database. Data. What we can do is we can go to replace values. Replace this value with a blank. So now we have this proper data, but this is for only year 1934. And what our requirement is, we want to load the data for each year. So let's say next year they will add a new data here. So we don't want to repeat all this step. We want the data to fetch in directly. So for that, what we'll do, we already have this table. We can just name it as event. And now we'll make basically measure function out of it that will give us the value. So for that, what we'll do, we'll go to advanced editor. So if you see the URL which we have, if I select any year, so the URL contains the year. So if I change any year, that information will also change. So for our purpose, what we need is we will change this we'll change this number based on the year which we wanted. For that, what we'll do here is we create a parameter here. And instead of this hard-coded values, we'll use this parameter. So what we'll do is we'll just first remove this year. We'll remove this here as well. And then put a 10% just for concatenation replace, and bring our year. Same as here. Okay, as you can see, this whole URL is in quotes. So we want to make sure that our values which is coming is always in text, not in number. Just to double sure, we can use a function number dot to text. So this will change this number to text, and we'll repeat that here. details. Okay. So right now we are done. So what exactly it's doing is this URL we have a parameter this year. So whatever year will pass, it will fetch that data and do the changes which we did. This. If I do done, so right now you can see this icon is like a table. But once I do a done here, so you can see this data this has changed to a function, and what it's asking is asking me to enter a year. Let's say 2011. If I put it and I click invoke, so it will fetch the data of 2011. Any doubt till here?
No sir, it's clear.
Yeah, if you want to fetch another year, you can fetch something like this. So you can now what we want a list of year for which we need to fetch this data. For that, what we'll do, we'll go back to this. We'll see this. We'll copy this URL, which has a database of the years. We'll copy this URL and same new source web. We'll fetch. So first data is not for our use, even third is not for our use. We'll select this second. We do OK. So right now you can see we have got all the years, but for our purpose we need these years in a single column. First, what we'll do, we'll remove this first column one, doesn't have any information, and then we'll select first year, first and last column, the last column, and do a unpivot. So now we have all the years in the rows. We can remove this column. Okay. So right now we have all the years that were in the database. Now we want to fetch the information related to that year. So for that, what we'll do is we'll go to add column and create a custom column. In the custom, now what we'll do, we'll call our function, that year event, and values. So what it will do, for each year it will call this function and pass the values at that year, and will get the data. So I click on this information required data privacy. Currently it's loading. It may take some time.
Swap, I just had a question. Is this sort of a live connection to the website, or does it take the data at any instance of time?
No, it's a live connection. So let's say next year you have 2022 in here, and with 2022 data, if you do a refresh in Power BI, it will just get the data as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, great.
It's currently taking loading records, so it may take some time. Okay. For the time being, I can open the already loaded file. It would look something like this. So after that loading is done, it will give us a table for each year. If you click on it, it will give the table of that year. Now we want to see the data, all the data at once. So we can go on expand option, and I'm just removing that use original column name, because it will then give custom.create custom.location. So I don't want that. And if we do a OK. So right now, you can see it's 1920. It's showing all the data for 1920. Similarly, 21, 22. This year will be changing every time, and we'll have the data for each year. And what we can do is right now. So this is the system is taking all these values as text. We can just change it to we type into number. Let's suppose number. So you can see there are some error. Reason being, that's an error from the website. They have moved. There could be a typo error. Instead of number, they have input some let's say character or a special character. Due to that, we are just showing some error. Now what we'll do, we'll load and apply. So yeah, it's pointing out that there are the errors which you are getting in the data.
Swapnil, I'm just curious here. I have one question. Uh, but does Power BI allow you to export data to any server-based database like SQL Server or any other?
Export.
Yeah, normally in Tableau, we have a only option to export as a CSV or export it to Microsoft Access for the data. I'm just thinking if you have any similar options in Power BI.
Power BI doesn't give you that export option as in here, but
Okay.
when you connect to Power BI web browser, you can export your data into Excel.
Okay. Okay. So we can download the Excel workbook,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay. Okay. Understood.
Okay. Once it gets loaded, so then we'll have all the data for each year, and then we can create a visualization, or we can have a trend to know which which year have most number of accident, which year have most number of air fatalities or ground fatalities. So we can use the data to interpret it. This feature helps us to look in multiple databases, multiple data from a single database in one go. So now we don't have to call each year again and again, because all the year have been loaded at once.
Great.
So any doubt in this? Once it's loaded, I can show you what data would look like.
I think no questions from my side. So I think it's a very good technique to be able to extract data from such a website where we have, because normally we often find some on that sort of a scenario where we have to extract data from such a websites, and that's a good technique.
Yeah, and people usually use web crawling and similar approaches to get the data, which is very complicated. They have to write code and everything, but this is fairly simpler.
Right.
Thanks for this, Swap.
Swap, is there any condition on like websites which we can connect and get the data? For example, like COVID-19India.org, can we do the same technique, and whether we'll be able to extract the data?
See, if we are able to make a connection and we can download it, connect the data, then I don't think there's a condition to it. So some website have a credential issue. So once you connect, it will ask for the credential. So if that website not like that, you can directly connect to data. So this website doesn't have any of that issue. You can directly connect to the database. They have no problem with that. Basically, you can connect to each and any of the databases. Let's close this. So we had done that. And if I go here, you can see on 2020, then 18, 90, 63, and you can just create a trend line out of it. If you want. So this is giving it the trend of ground fatalities from year 1920 to year 2021. Similarly, if you want the number of accidents, so what you can do is just count the maximum number of accidents were in the year 1946 and 1989. So for 1946, we can take an assumption that it was a world war going on, so maybe that was the reason for this high peak. But then we can look at why the peak is high on 1989. This would help us to just visualize the data for all the years at one. This is all for today.